Hey YouTube, today we're going to be looking at something a little bit different, and I'm going to be showing you a watch. And I've mentioned many times on this channel that I'm a big fan of watches, so I figured I'd show you one, and usually I like to show you something a little bit unique. So today we're going to be looking at a pocket watch. This particular pocket watch was made by the Illinois Watch Company. And I'm going to give you a brief history of the Illinois Watch Company, and then I'm going to go into what makes this watch a little special. So, the Illinois Watch Company was formed in 1870. They were in direct competition with the Elgin Watch Company, Waltham, and Hamilton Watch Company. Those are the big major ones that come to mind. And they made really good watches. They were ran by a company. They were owned and founded and ran by a family with the last name Bunn, B-U-N-N. And they named one of their most famous watches after their own last name, the Illinois Bunn Special. And Bunn Jr., the son of the founder, well, he died in, I believe, like 1927. And after that, as of all companies, I guess it was the same back then as it is now. Everybody thinks they can do it better. Well, the people ran it in the ground, and Illinois Watch Company got bought out by Hamilton. By the 1930s, they stopped making watches altogether. Hamilton still owned the name and tried to revive it later on in like the 40s or 50s and put some wristwatches out with Swiss movements in them, but they were nothing. The only thing that resembled their old stuff was the name on it. But Illinois Watch Company ceased to exist in the early 30s around the Great Depression time. So, with that being said, this is a Illinois Sangamo Special. And this was a railroad grade watch. And what used to happen in the late 1800s, early 1900s is they timed trains using pocket watches. They didn't have any computers, they didn't have the internet, they didn't have all this technology. This was the technology. So these things had to be accurate. I mean, it had to be right on. I mean, there was a lot of people's life at stake, so they used a pocket watch to time the trains. And if you made a mistake, well, it could be detrimental. So in order for a watch to be certified, it had to meet certain criteria. And like I said, I'm not an expert, but one of the criteria is it had to have, I believe it was like a 17 joule or 18 joule movement in it. It had to be adjusted it had to be adjusted in 5 positions, meaning it had to run in this position, this position, this position, this position, this position, all the positions. There's 5 different positions that it had to be run in because this is mechanical movement in this. There's no batteries or anything. Works on a little hairspring inside there, and it has to work in every position. Another thing that it had to be tamper proof. So most normal traditional watches, you pull the stem out in order to set the watch. Well, on a railroad grade watch, and I have this popped open already to show you, this is what they call lever set. So if you look really close right here, there's a little lever that you pull out right here, and then you turn the stem, and that sets the time. And that way, when you close it back up, you snap this closed, and no longer, you can't tamper with it. So pulling it in and out of your pocket will not alter the time. If you altered the time on it, well, you could cause a big wreck, and that would not be good. So it also had to be adjusted for temperature and stuff like that. So it had to pass a lot of criteria to be a railroad grade watch, and with understanding. So this is a railroad grade watch. Now Illinois, their benchmark watch that they made was the Bunn Special. It was named after the family that founded them, and that's what everybody wanted. Well, they wanted to create a premium watch, sort of like a premium brand, premium model and all that. And this is what this is. This is called a Sangamo Special. And they made the Sangamos in several different models. They made a Sangamo They made a Sangamo Special. They made both of those in 21 jewel. And then they made a Sangamo Special or they made a Sangamo and then Sangamo Special in 23 jewel. This is a 23 jewel Sangamo Special. This is the top of the line. This is like having a Rolex watch. This particular watch was made in 1925. So this is what it was like to own a Rolex watch in 1925. This is the top notch. This is it gets no better. This has got the best of everything on it. So I'm going to go over a couple things that makes this thing cool. I've got this popped open for you. So if you open this thing up, now these things, I have this pre-open for you. If you look on the inside of this case, what makes this thing really, really cool is this is a 14 karat gold filled white gold case. And this was actually an Illinois watch case. A lot of these watches were subcontracted out. The cases were, they sourced out the cases by like a company like Keystone or something like that, made the cases. Well, this is actually an Illinois watch case. And I'm going to show you that here in a second. I'm trying to show you some of the stampings on the inside of it. And gold filled is a little bit different gold plating. It's a real thick layering of gold. And usually they had like a 10-year guarantee, 15-year guarantee, 20-year guaranteed. I think this is the 30-year guarantee. The guarantee to never wear off because it's got such a thick layer of gold on it. And this one happens to be white gold. Now, if you look at the inside, it's got what they call a double hinge hunter case on it. And a lot of the traditional railroad watches had a screw-on back where you just unscrewed them. Well, this has got a double hinge on the back and a single hinge on the front. So everything hinges open. And on the inside of this case here, you'll see where it says Illinois Watch Company and it says Sangamo Special. So this case was actually made for this watch, which is really cool. Then on the inside here, you'll see it says Sangamo Special on the case, and this is 14 karat gold filled. Now, we'll show you the meat and the potatoes about it. This is the movement on this watch, and it is gorgeous. So, if you look on the inside, it says Sangamo 23 jewel, Sangamo Special 23 jewel motor barrel. And this is adjusted in 6 positions. All it was required to be a railroad watch is to be adjusted in 5 positions. This one is adjusted in 6. If you look at all the beautiful rubies on the inside, they put jewels on the inside where the wear parts are. So usually gemstones are harder than metal and they won't wear out. But you see the Illinois Watch Company right there by the hairspring where the moving parts are. This is craftsmanship, folks, here. This thing was handmade by a watchmaker. All the little teeny tiny parts, and this thing is 98 years old and it still runs perfectly. Still keeps perfect time and everything. This right here, this little thing right here, that's the temperature adjustment. I really don't know a lot about how that works, but I've never messed with it. But you have your serial number down towards the bottom. That's how you can look it up and see what year it was made. But this one was made in 1925. I'm just telling you. But look at all the little parts on the inside of this watch. It is absolutely fascinating to look at it. And that's what craftsmanship is, folks. That's not an Apple Watch. That's not an iPhone that you carry around. This is what they used in the 1925s. This is one of the last ones made. When I say the last ones, this is in the last couple years of Illinois Watch Company's existence before they sold out to Hamilton. But this thing is absolutely spectacular. This is the one that everybody wants. This is the 23 jewel Sangamo Special. They're top notch, high end. Doesn't get any better than this. De la creme, as they say. But anyway, it just makes it really cool that they're a little bit different to have a white gold filled one, and then to have the actual Illinois Sangamo Special case. Not only is it an Illinois case, it actually says Sangamo Special on it. And this is what they have called a double sunk dial. So if you look in the middle where it says Illinois, it's sunken in right there. And then where the second hand is sunken down below. It's countersunk. It's just called a double sunk dial. The hands are made out of blue steel, so it's blued just like a firearm would be. But it's got a porcelain dial on it, and there's absolutely no cracks in this one anywhere. But this watch is in fantastic shape. It's got a fixed bezel on the top here, loop that you'd put a chain on and all that. Now what I did is I've got this sterling silver. It's a solid sterling silver keychain, a Harley Davidson keychain that I repurposed as a watch fob. So like when I ride around on my motorcycle, I'll carry this sometimes, and I'll put the watch in my watch pocket and have this hang out, and all you see is a motorcycle chain and a Harley Davidson logo. I'm a Harley Davidson guy, so I kind of repurposed an old sterling silver, solid sterling silver keychain, and that makes that really cool that it's sterling silver. So anyway, I just thought I'd show you something a little bit different today. I don't know how many people are into watches, but this is a really, really, really neat piece. These things are not cheap if you find them. You can find an old railroad watch, like an old Hamilton, or you can even find old Illinois watches. You can get them relatively inexpensive, but you're not going to find this one very inexpensive laying around, and you really have to know what you're looking at when you go get something like this. This is something that interests you. You can get a 21 jewel one quite a bit cheaper, but this is a 23 jewel Illinois Sangamo Special railroad approved watch. And I hope you enjoyed looking at it as much as I enjoyed telling you about it. And thank you very much, folks, for watching my video, and you folks have a great day.